What up everyone, it's your man XManny87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is a recap of the new Marvel Legends revealed at WonderCon. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's talk about it. First up, we get the Iron Man model number 1 in the gold. I mean, this was bound to happen, right? When we saw the first appearance, we just knew a gold one was coming. Some even speculated this version being a part of the Haslab Giant Man 4 tiers before the Giant Man reveal. Didn't happen, but you know, now it's here, and I just gotta say, this is my least favorite one. It just, oh, man, I don't even know where to start, but yeah, I know where to start. It's that gold plastic. It looks, oh my god, it's dreadful, man. I could see the marbling through it, like on the torso. I don't know what they're doing lately with this kind of marbling plastic. I've seen it on the Secret Wars Doctor Doom with the Spectrum 2-pack, where the marbling armor looks almost translucent in a way, right? It has this kind of like clearish kind of look. I'm not vibing with this at all. It's not a good look for this armor. It needs to be solid. He needed to be painted in a metallic gold, just like the Toy Biz one. I know Ryan Ting at the panel said that it has a new skirt piece, so it's not a straight up repaint like the last one. I'm like, bro, y'all didn't even paint the first one, so this isn't even a repaint, you know? Yeah, I think the only paint we see here is what? That on the skirt and on the knees. That's just, nah, man, this ain't it. And seeing this Iron Man on displays through some photos, it doesn't look appealing at all. It's like no gold whatsoever. I don't even know why they call it gold. It just looks like freaking mustard caca. I will tell you what I like though, and that is you can actually see Tony Stark's eyes behind the helmet. I think that's pretty cool. I do like that. But he's got a few accessories, the same rehashed Iron Man accessories with the smoke trail and the blast effects. The hands are reused from that other Iron Man. He does have a Tony Stark head. Man, he's got that porn stash right there, bro. I think that's a new head. If it's reused, someone let me know. I mean, I want to say it's new, but if you like it, cool. I don't like it. I can't vibe with this. I'll still get it for my Hall of Armor. I'm just not happy with the execution. That's all. This next one I'm really excited for, and it's Iron Man Model 20, the Tin Man armor, and I freaking love this armor. It looks so good, and it is an update from that Toy Biz one that came out in Marvel Legends Series 8, I want to say. And yeah, I'm happy to see this updated. I want to put this in my Hall of Armor so bad. Not to be confused with the Pentagon armor. Some people get this armor confused with the Pentagon armor. I believe that was Model 25. There are a lot of similarities. I hope they make that Pentagon armor soon. And this just looks so good. One big key takeaway here is that he has butterfly joints, and I don't remember the last time or if there ever was butterfly joints on a Marvel Legends Iron Man. Someone remind me if there was. I can't remember because this makes me happy. I mean, Iron Man with butterfly joints, I'm sold. I am sold. That's all I need. And he does have the upper torso rocker. He still has that hard waist swivel, which for me they gotta get rid of for Iron Man's. Like this specific body to the specific armor. Same with the extremis. They're just making Iron Man designs now that I feel like they are missing that big opportunity in applying the ball jointed waist. That this design calls for it. It would have given him more range, but that upper torso swivel, from what I've seen, you know, people play around with it on display. It does have some good pivoting, which, you know, I'm happy about. I still think they needed to execute that ball jointed waist. The rest of the figure looks good. Is that pins on him on the lower? No. It looked like pins on the lower legs. But it is pinless. It's just the design of his armor. The armor just looks so good, man. This is just nice. This is some heavy duty sculpting. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing here. He's got 4 blast effects. And so, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites in the wave. Now we get our third Iron Man in the wave. Yes, this wave is, half Iron Man, just like they did with the retro Spider-Man of this year's 3 Spider-Mans. So I guess they're just taking the opportunity to get more models out, right? So, hey, I mean, I understand that, but I feel like 2, they should have just kept it to 2 and then maybe put another wanted villain in there. But neoclassic armor, model number 9. I love the neoclassic armor. I'm happy to see an update. The one with the ball jointed hips back in, I want to say 2012 or something. One of those older Iron Man waves. Yeah, it severely needed an update, and I'm happy to see it again. Just like I mentioned with the gold Model 1 on the torso, that marbling, swirling plastic. Look at it on this torso. It just has that kind of, yeah, like that Doctor Doom Secret Wars, where it just looks so clear. It looks like something is glowing underneath his chest, and it's not his repulsor tech node, which is the only thing that should be glowing on his chest. It's not a good look. So I am disappointed in some aspects of this figure. Some areas really let me down like that. I mean, he has pins, so they're reusing the 80 years Iron Man legs, I think. But everything else they got right with the gloves. Those big clunky boots. I love that armor. The shoulder pads are the same technique that they've been doing with the other Iron Man figures, where it rotates along with the arm. So that's good. I like the head sculpt. Yeah, that torso, man. And even on the crotch piece, it's just looking faded, and I really don't know. I hope it looks better on hand. That's all I gotta say. But we do get some alternate hands. We do get some new effects, right? Yeah, some new effects, some new steamy repulsor effects, I guess. So that looks cool. Looks like you could plug them on his hands, or on his boots. It's a little bit on the yellowish side. If it was painted in a metallic gold like the last one, I believe it was painted in a metallic gold, that would have made up for some of the red that's lacking. Yeah, I love this armor, and it's a must-have for my Hall of Armor display, but I'm not gonna lie that I'm a little let down by it. Next up, one of 2 villains in the wave, and I did not expect this. We're getting Count Nefaria. Man, what a classic villain. And I did not expect to see. I didn't think they were ever gonna make this figure, to be honest with you. And I wanted him in the line. It just, he wasn't like high on any of my wish list or anything. It's just one of those characters that, I just feel like, he needed a figure, and he does look good. He's on the Vulcan body. I think that's a new cape, or is it Hyperion reused? No, it's a new cape. It has that pop-up collar. Hyperion has those like cape holding discs. It looks good. Paint looks good. He does have alternate hands. No energy effects though, man. I was hoping they, would give him some energy effects. We don't need all those Iron Man repulsor ray effects. I mean, we have so many of them. They could have given this guy a new energy effect. Maybe do something different, like just let him be on his Superman shit and have him like block a projectile, similar to the Lightning Collection, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Putty Patrol, where they had that like huge chest effect, and that would look so cool, and recreate one of the old comic covers. I remember him blocking, some of the Avengers attacks. That would have been really cool to see. I might do that. I might borrow one of those effects from that line to add to this guy and do some cool photos with. But yeah, Count Nefaria, no complaints. I'm happy with it. Man, oh man, you guys remember I did my Marvel Legends villains wish list? That Whiplash was on it if you saw it. And man, this makes me so happy. He looks so good. He looks so freaking good. So first of all, his hair, immaculate. And it's articulate. As you can see, it's packed in the blister packaging. It's separate from the figure. So you're gonna have to pop that on when you open him up. But you know, he's got his satchel. That's a new upper torso for sure. It's not Banshee reused, I don't think. Yeah, it looks like that V cut on the chest is a lot longer. I think it's a new body actually. Now that I'm looking at it, those arms look new, or maybe not. I mean, they're pinless. The legs look no. Are those the Spider UK retool to pinless, like with Baron von Strucker and Fang? Is it that? Hard to tell, but whatever it is, it still looks good on this guy. We see he has new parts, like his gloves and his boots. Face sculpt is awesome. It's just absolutely awesome. He's got alternate hands. He's got his fists. He's got the gripping hands, which is needed for his Whiplash, and the Whiplash looks so good. It has this nice bunched up, it looks like this bunched up crunchy energy effect that's just pulsating nicely. It just looks so good, and I can definitely see this whip being reused for a Senyaka figure down the line, and that makes me excited. Whiplash definitely my second favorite reveal of the day. And my favorite reveal, I had to save the best for last. Come on, man. My favorite reveal is this She-Hulk, a classic She-Hulk. And, oh, man, she has that John Byrne style, which is like my favorite She-Hulk. She's got the nice curly hair and the green comic shading on it. She's smiling, and she looks lovely with that smile. It's a lovely smile. I wanted a smiling She-Hulk. And she looks to be on that Power Princess buck, which many of us expected that was going to pave the way for the bigger, taller, muscular females in the line. My only gripe with this, because I got to get my negatives out the way first, right? The pinless joints, they are off tone, like her elbow joints and her knees. What the hell, man? They're not matching the rest of the skin tone. I hate that. Looks like she got ashy ass knees, bro. Like, come on. And the singlet, I was hoping that they would sculpt the top piece of the singlet. They didn't. It's just painted on. I was really hoping for a double diaphragm joint, because the Power Princess, I had a feeling was going to be reused for a She-Hulk, and missed opportunity there. Not sculpting a double diaphragm joint, especially when they're making new molds, right? I want to see the new articulation system implemented on the new sculpts. I felt like it was needed here. But she looks great, man. Oh, the classic She-Hulk is just what I wanted. And you know, we're going to get a Red She-Hulk 2 out of this. But for me, more importantly, man, I want a Fantastic Four She-Hulk. So I can't wait to get that. She's definitely going to happen maybe in a Fantastic Four retro wave if they make another one. She'll have the ponytail, hopefully another alternate head, like a yelling head. I would love an angry head for this kind of She-Hulk with this hairstyle. But she looks great. Some people are tripping that she's on an Iron Man retro card. Like, really, man? It's just a freaking box. What's going to matter when you open the figure? You're just going to have the figure in your hands, okay? And plus, she's been in Iron Man comics, so I don't know why people trip out so much over a box, man. But nice accessories with the... Well, she's got all hands. That's important. A new accessory introduced here, and that is that mangled rifle, and it looks so cool. Just went hand with tearing it apart, and it looks so good. I like seeing cool new accessories, you know. I like seeing new accessories as much as I like seeing new sculpts, and so that's going to be a fun accessory to display with your, you know, super powered characters. You know, I got to give them props here. I don't think I've seen imports even do this kind of accessory, mangled rifle. So I'm happy that they were thinking outside the box there. I really, really like this a lot. You know, the Magneto fan in me is already thinking about using this kind of rifle for a Magneto pick. You know, despite some of my gripes, the good outweighs the bad, and I can't stop looking at this. This is definitely going to end up in a lot of people's top 10, and oh, this is so nice. Overall, I'm happy with these figures. I'm happy to finally see a retro Iron Man wave. That's great, but I'm so sad at the same time because there's no BAF, man. There's just so many Iron Man characters that they can make as BAFs, and it's killing me because you guys know I love the BAF system, man. That's Marvel Legends tradition. I don't want them killing the BAF system, and yeah, you know how I feel. Like, I don't like getting all these figures and not getting a reward out of it, which is essentially, you know, a bonus figure, an extra figure. I don't think they're completely killing off the BAF waves, but I do think they will be limiting them. And there's just so many characters I want to see. Like, I want to see a classic Titanium Man. I want to see a Mark 1 Crimson Dynamo. I know Marvel Selects did theirs, but I do want to see one with the Marvel Legends style of articulation. There's just so many I can name. But I feel like they're favoring the retro cards more than anything. I mean, they're just making retro cards out of the wazoo. They're making new modern style packaging for the Spider-Man modern comic figures. They're making a freaking retro card. They made a freaking retro card for Spider-Man No Way Home. Come on now, that's ridiculous. They don't have to make everything out of retro cards. X-Men 97 too. They're just creating their own retro cards. It takes away the specialty, that uniqueness of the original retro cards, like the 90s Spider-Man and the 90s X-Men. And even this Iron Man wave. I just want them to make, you know, their own unique style packaging for those other lines and just keep the original, traditional 90s retro cards as is. Anyway, this wave will go up for pre-order on Tuesday, April 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And now the last thing I want to talk about, did Hasbro give us what could possibly be a Haslab teaser? I got this pic from MCU Collector 24. Shout out to him. Actually, before I continue, someone is trying to impersonate MCU Collector on Instagram. So just beware and be aware of, you know, imposters like that. So I just want to take the time now to create more awareness. I shared it on my Instagram stories. That shit is not cool. I hate bullshit like that. I really do. So, yeah, if you see it, report the account. But continuing on with this photo here, it is a micro accessory of a Quinjet. This is interesting. Now, some people are thinking, oh, is the Haslab gonna be a Quinjet? Who knows? Possibly. But if it's a mini accessory like this, maybe I could see it packed in with like a Hank Pym in his lab coat. You know, where this could be like some sort of shrunken down accessory for him. Because I don't know. I don't see them doing a Quinjet shortly after the Engine of Vengeance failed. So, you know, to do another vehicle this early after that failure, I don't know if it's the right call. And even if they did, you're going to fit like, what, 4 or 5 Avengers in the front? And where's Thor going to go? How's he going to fit? He has a plastic cape. Unless they make a Thor with a soft fabric wired cape or whatever, you know, they probably won't do it wired. If they do it, it's just gonna be a, you know, fabric soft goods cape. But yeah, you got to think about things like that, right? Like, how's he gonna fit? All you can fit in the front is like Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Hawkeye could fit because he has that soft goods skirt that he could sit on. The Sky Cycle. Iron Man, yeah, definitely not gonna fit Hulk in that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's doable to fit all of them, but they would have to make a lot of room in the back for him, and I just don't see a Quinjet vehicle happening before the Blackbird. I just don't see it. So this is what I'm thinking. I think all signs are pointing to a Fang Foom. I think Fang Foom is now, you know, going to be the clear candidate as the next Haslab. Just because, you know, and as much as I wanted a Spider-Man Haslab, and I feel like it was his time because Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, all the other franchises got theirs, you know, and not Spider-Man. Tri-Spider Slayer, Daily Bugle diorama. You know, even a Tri-Sentinel would be amazing. And I was just thinking, it's Spider-Man the Animated Series 30th anniversary. At the same time, it's also the Iron Man cartoon's 30th anniversary. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this would make sense for sure. And then have the Mandarin in the base offer or as a tier. Sold. So I think this little Quinjet might be a micro accessory to Fang Foom so he could like eat it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think of that Haslab Unicron. If you remember, he had like these micro transformer accessories that he could hold with his fingers and it looks like he's eating them. I think they're trying to apply that same thing here. And if you're old enough like me in my late 30s or older, if you remember the Toy Biz retro line in the 90s, their Iron Man series featured a Fang Foom. Now you see Marvel Legends pushing out an Iron Man retro wave, a full retro wave. You know, I don't think they're doing this for nothing, you know what I mean? Normally when they do something like this is because they're gonna push something big. Because again, these Iron Man retro cards were only standalone figures before, with just 2. Now if it's Fang Foom, I'm asking you, what color should he be? Should he be green or should he be orange? How do you think they're gonna handle the colors? Are they gonna hold a vote poll for who wants green or who wants orange? Because I'm thinking one of them has to be made, right? I don't think with a Haslab you're gonna straight up see a repaint for Fang Foom like that. So I think it's just one color and that's it. Do you want them with shorts or no shorts? How they're gonna do that? I think the best way is to do soft goods, you know, so that way if you want to display them without the shorts, you can remove it. How tall do you want him to be? How tall should he be? For me, I would like him to be 30 inches. I don't want him taller than Galactus because I feel like Galactus should be, you know, the biggest of them all. That's what makes him feel special. And what tiers is he gonna have? You know, obviously we can think of Mandarin, and I want the Mandarin from that animated series look. I love that look so much. I don't like his robe like the one that Toy Biz did in their Legends line. I hate that one. One that looked awful with the awful plastic. I don't see Hasbro doing soft goods. If they do the one with the robe like that, that classic comic one, it better be soft goods because I need to pose that figure. But the Mandarin I want, like my definitive version of Mandarin to me is that animated series. Like that is my favorite Mandarin look. He just looks so badass. And let me tell you, I'll be honest with you, I am not a big fan of the Mandarin character at all. I'm really not, but I know he's needed in my collection. The animated series one, I just feel like would be the best call because, I mean, the whole retro theme, the retro wave, should be geared towards their animated looks. And I hope that Fang Foom has that retro Iron Man as a box. We don't have a Haslab yet in a retro stylized box, so that would be nice to have. Not saying he's going to be blister card, of course not. He's going to be in a box, but just saying the packaging art, I hope they take inspiration from the retro packaging. Flame effects, maybe some cool flame effects would be nice. Like a huge fire breathing effect would be amazing. I think he'll have a articulated mandible. I think he's gonna have the articulated fingers. What do you guys think for his tail? Should it be bendy wire or should it be articulated? I have the bath. I love the bath, but that tail, the way they did it, it could have been better. So if it's a bendy tail or an articulated tail, I wouldn't mind it. As long as it's done right and it looks good. Who knows? What if that's a tier, right? What if the base offering has him with an articulated tail and then one of the tiers are a swappable bendy tail? Now that I mentioned it, I could see that. But for size, he's got to be bigger than the BAF. The BAF was 16 inches. It was a great size at that time. It was Hasbro's largest Build-A-Figure. I don't want him to be 20 inches. I don't want him to be shorter than Giant Man. I don't want him to even be shorter than the Sentinel. I feel like he should be bigger than the Sentinel. And again, 30 inches I think would be the desirable scale for me. I could sit here all day and talk about Fang Foom and make up a tier wish list. Another tier, well, real quick. Another tier they can do if they want to revisit the figure tiers, because I know they said they want to stay away from locking figures behind an expensive paywall, judging off the last Haslab with Giant Man, right? But if they decide to go revisit it, and I did pay attention when they did say they didn't want to lock desirable characters behind an expensive paywall. So the one I'm going to mention is not going to be desirable, but one that would make sense for this Haslab project, and that's an Iron Man Fang Foom Buster armor. That would be freaking awesome, okay? This is not on everyone's wish list, so it's not like super desirable. I don't hear everyone saying, oh my god, I want an Iron Man Fang Foom Buster. And I know I mentioned Mandarin as a tier, and he is a desirable character. I will acknowledge that. But it's also Hasbro too at the same time. So they might want to sell at least a version of Mandarin, like that animated series, in that Haslab packaging. Or vice versa, do the comic one with that, and then have the animated series in a standalone retro card. The only problem with a Fang Foom Buster is that it would be too large, because in the comics, that armor was up to Fang Foom's chest, around there. So, two large figures in one Haslab, it's not going to happen. It's more of wishful thinking. But we'll see how it plays out. Keep your eyes peeled, and I'm just hoping to get a Haslab reveal by San Diego Comic-Con at the earliest. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Marvel Legends Retro Iron Man wave? Which ones are you copying? Which ones are you passing? And what do you think will end up being the Marvel Legends Haslab of this year? Fang Foom? Or something else? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Happy Easter to you and yours. Thank you for watching another Marvel Legends video. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace.